morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wow, hold on a second, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. God bless you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My God, look at the people on here. Look at the people on here. Well, good morning. It's hump day, as they call it some parts of the country. Hump day. I never understood what hump day meant. Is that what it means, Miss Sensational? Hump day? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Miss Belinda Batiste is agreeing with you. Okay. Well, good morning. Good morning, Saints. Good morning. 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 They're still jumping on. I cannot get off. It keeps messing my screen up. So many people jumping on. Hey, listen, I want to give a good shout out this morning. Oh, Miss Joyce Brewer finally got on. Oh, there we go. Good morning. Wow, let me get this all set up. Good morning, Miss Eileen. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Miss Belinda Batiste. I already said that. Looking, yeah, girl. Hey. Mr. Al Randolph. Uh-oh, what happened here? What happened to my screen? What happened to my screen? All right, Miss Natasha Ismail, Regional Director from Fresno. Good morning, dear. Good morning. Good chit-chatting with you earlier. Good morning. Let me get this all squared away here. There we go. A little bit that way too much. All right, good. Mr. Bill Howard, good morning, sir. At Navarro, I know you were in Lake Tahoe. I saw pictures. Yes, sir, hanging from that chandelier. You look great. Anyway, Mr. Dale Ranson, good morning. Miss Evelyn Phibbs, Regional Director, she was also in Lake Tahoe. She up there with a fishing pole trying to catch a new IBOs. Okay, good. Mr. Freddie Sherman, good morning, sir. Miss Caroline Baker, good morning. Hey, Miss Jones of the Cruise, she's going for 200 points. Look out, look out, look out, look out. Mr. Harold Gaston down in Fresno. Good morning, sir. Regional Director Platinum, Miss Jocelyn Driscoll has just joined us on the call. Good morning, young lady. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Ooh. Yeah, she was one of the trainers in Lake Tahoe. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Heard it was amazing. Mr. Casey Carter down there in San Diego with his headphones on. I like his shirt. Man, I like that shirt. Let me see all of it. Let me see all of it. Yeah, I like that, man. I like that shirt. I like that. I like it. I like it. Miss Kathleen Williams, good morning. She's a wonderful lady, Miss Kathleen Williams. I understand you could be working with Regional Director Mrs. Ismail a little later today. God bless you. Amazing young lady out there. Hey, Miss Kimberly Garcia, good morning, dear. Marie, good morning. Mr. Payon out in Japan. Good morning, senor. Sir. Spanish, I know. Miss Melissa Vaughn, good morning, dear. Miss Zoe of the Bakery Organization, good morning. TJ in Ohio, good morning. Miss Tracy Gilmore, good morning. And Winston Herbert, good morning. Anna down in Texas, good morning, dear. David Wright, sir, good morning. The incomparable man, what do we get a blessing yesterday from Mr. Julian Lewis? That guy dropped the mic. He hit somebody upside the head with it. I mean, he was amazing yesterday. Woo, my God, if you didn't go see it, go back to the channel. Have you noticed the quality of what the speakers are talking about are just so powerful lately? Just powerful. Love how God leads these guys and girls. Miss Mary Perez, good morning and welcome back from Lake Tahoe. I heard you learned a lot. And now you're going to get busier, busier, what you got. Good. Queen B from New York City. Somebody get a rope. Marcia Carter, good morning, dear. Miss Tamara McDonald down in San Diego. That lady's amazing. Last time I was in San Diego, she had a guest signed up. I remember that. You don't think I remember it? I remember it. Sam Foster, where's my buddy that hangs out with TD Jakes? There he is. Good morning, sir. Mr. Ismail. Que paso, senor? Golly, I love that guy. Perla Banal, good morning, dear. Thank you so much for joining the call. Ms. Rose Guerrero King, I know she's full, ready to go. She's got a lot of from Lake Tahoe. And her husband, where's he at? Mr. Chris King, I know he's out there. He is. All right, sir, good morning. Hey, by the way, I am coming to Fresno for leadership on next Friday. Shh. I'm going to Fresno. Yeah. Leadership. Check with your leaders. Mr. Sergio down in Mexico. ¿Qué pasó, señor? Yes. And Mr. Brian Baker, sir, that guy is serving it up over there. That guy can cook, man. I tell you what, he can cook. He can cook. I'm gonna tell you something. He can cook. He loves it. I like it. Anyway, Miss Allen, good morning, dear, and also Mr. Ryan Swallow from Sacramento, California. Pat and Frank Bowman from Elk Grove, California, a little south of Sacramento. Thank you all for joining the call today. We have got a great call lined up for you today. And Boris Shelton, thank you so much for joining the call today as well, dear. Hey, listen, this young man does a great job, has done a wonderful job. Miss Celia from Woodland, California, good morning. Thank you, dear. Hey, I just want to introduce you to this guy. This guy is an amazing leader. He's an entrepreneur. He's been an entrepreneur his whole life. He's 56. He's a business owner. He worked in corporate America for top companies, and a good part of his life, he's been married, not a good part, he's been married 34 years to the same ladies. This man is amazing. He's a great leader. The greatest, he'll tell you, one of the things I got from him, one of the greatest times is to be in AC, and it's right now. Folks, it's always right now is a good time to be in it. And he also said this, you must learn how to reinvent yourself, especially today. You got to understand that. He says faith is the key. He's a faith-driven man. That's what I love about him. And we have great in-depth conversation. Trust me, we really do. And he said something before I introduce him. Excuse me. He says the pain of change versus progress. Change is painful, but progress is successful. Wow. Without further ado, coming from us live from Houston, Texas, my dear friend, the one and only, the compo. I know you guys love him. You haven't heard him. You get ready, put your seatbelt on, because Mr. Dwight Williams is going to bring a message. I just can't wait, because I know it's the first day of his, he'll be with us all month. So you got to get, just like yesterday, you got to get that seatbelt on, because y'all better receive, get your notepads out. That's right, Sensational. Get your notepads out, get your pens out. Ladies, get your eyebrow mascara pens out. Use whatever you got to do, but you got to take notes. This guy is amazing. So without further ado, my dear friend, Mr. Dwight Williams from Houston, Texas.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a plum-pleasing pleasure to be here this morning.
Amen.
I am excited. Now, talking is something I love to do, so I can do this all the time. So I am, can everybody hear me? Excellent, excellent. Let's have some fun today. Mr. Thomas has asked me to speak, and I've got some things. As he said earlier, I'm going to talk about the subject that I love to talk about most of all, and most of you have heard me before, probably already know what that is. I love to talk about my favorite F word is faith. I don't have a 4-letter F word, I have a 5-letter F word, and my 5-letter F word is faith. And that is my favorite word. But we're going to talk about it from the context of some other words, and so. But faith will be at the base of everything we talk about over the next few weeks, and so it's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm gonna tell you, it's a privilege, and it is because you walk among giants. When Mr. Thomas, of course, Ms. Jocelyn Driscoll, Mr. Julian, Ms. Natasha, Jabri, those gentlemen, people who are leaders in this organization, and you hear them all the time, and I hope you never ever take that for granted. Never ever because think about it. Those individuals that you're mingling with and touching with will be the Tony Robbins of tomorrow. They'll be the I forget her name, the faith speaker, I forget her name, the lady. She's at Joel Osteen's church all the time. She speaks. They'll be those individuals of the future. And you have access to them now, because Tony Robbins was that person one day. Joel Osteen was a guy doing video at his church one day. Who could have known that they would become the individuals that they are today? And so we have the pleasure, and so always, and who you are. The other thing, always be considering and thinking about where you're going as well, because where you're going to end up, where the end of your journey is, always be thinking about that. I think about my journey and the journey for all of the people that are around me every day. I'm always thinking about what's our next move, where we're going, what's our direction, what's our destiny. And I'm something you're going to note about me. It's always an opportunity. Everything, every circumstance, it's always going to be an opportunity. So for me, it's always, the future is always great. It's never going to not be great. Now, when I'm mentoring individuals, I always say that I have a cheat sheet, because I'm 56 years old. And so I've done a lot of things. And so because I have that cheat sheet, it gives me a level of confidence that I didn't have 20, 30 years ago because of the experiences I've had. And Mr. Thomas can say the same. Um, we have an unfair advantage with our experiences, but the beauty of that is we spend all of our time helping you to gain leverage of those experiences. So I had one gentleman say, so my ceiling becomes your floor. And so that's what this is all about. And so these mornings, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday mornings, spending time with leaders and letting them pour into you is really a beautiful thing. Now, today's remember I said that the foundation of every one of these days, the foundation word will always be faith. Faith is my favorite subject. The word I'm going to talk about today, though, is I'm going to start here, fear. One other word that I'll be talking about over the next few weeks is the word focus. Another word I'll be talking about is I haven't decided yet, but I don't. It doesn't matter. I'm not. These are the words I'm thinking about. I'll just tell you that. So fear today, focus. I'm considering the word failure. And I'm looking at relationships with family and friends. I'm also considering the word finance. So it's a lot of words. I'm only going to do 4 of the combinations. So today's word is fear, and if it merges over, I may begin to talk about failure. It all depends on pace. So, but today we've heard the word fear. And it always comes, we've heard the acronym false evidence appearing real, which is a great acronym for the word fear. But I'm gonna not preach today. I don't know if that makes any sense. My favorite book, I read a lot of books. I read a lot. Matter of fact, I'm reading 2 or 3 books right now. But my favorite book is the Bible. And the reason the Bible is my favorite book is because I believe all the truths all of the principles that you find in all of the other books, if they are real, they are based on the truths that come out of the Bible. I can tell you that now. So knowing that, my favorite book says that we were not given what he calls the spirit of fear. And then it goes on to say that we were given 3 things that we are to make decisions to live by. And those things are love, power, and a sound mind. Those are the 3, not fear. Instead of fear, it's love, power, and a sound mind. Now, I start with fear because fear is a good starting point as we move forward progressively. I had interestingly, so I had a meeting with my pastor on yesterday. He and I sat down and met, and we began to talk about ministry going forward over the next into next year. And we had a conversation about fear in the current atmosphere that we live in right now. On Monday this week, I was headed out. My wife came to me. She said, Dwight, we're on social media now, a group of us, and we're talking a young lady off the ledge. The current environment has got her so uncertain that she's considering suicide. And they were talking to her, and all of these things that she's dealing with, she's saying, I don't know what to do, and I'm considering taking my life. And we shake our heads and we concern ourselves, but fear is a thing that is easy to grip you if you're not careful. If you're not careful with you, fear will overtake you, anxiety, and in many forms, depression. We have names for it, don't we? We got depression, anxiety. We got all of those things that we name our fears. But the truth be told, we can call them anger, we call them abuse, but insecurity. But all of these names are names of they have their roots in fear. So. Fear is the thing that paralyzes us from achieving the thing that we were created for. If you think about it. See, all of us have a seed of greatness in us. I have a, and I can prove it. I have a scripture that I love. It says, to him who is able to do what exceeds abundance above our imagination, all we ask or think. So all we ask or think is our imagination. So imagine, I want to slowly take the time to kind of dissect what that says. Imagine your wildest dream. Just imagine that for 1 minute. So imagine the greatest possible thing you've seen about you. And what that scripture says is he can do what exceeds abundance above that imagination. It is not abundance above what you've imagined. It exceeds abundance beyond your imagination. Now, how though? He says, according to power that is already in you. Now, I'm not preaching, I'm not trying to preach. But so let me be very clear. I say I'm not trying to preach because I'm really not. But I have to make decisions in my life. And there are a lot of books that I can pick from, that I can read great principles from and learn and apply. But this one book is not just principles. They are truths that guarantee results. They are laws. And all a law is a set of conditions that produce a certain result, a certain outcome. If you do these things, this is what you get. That's what the law is. And this thing, it does it without exception. So why would I go anywhere else? Why wouldn't I make that my number one book? Because it tells me, do these things, and these are the outcomes you get. I'm always looking for predictability. Mr. Thomas has said that before. It will create predictability. I'm looking for predictability. So if I do these things, I get these outcomes without question. And so that's why I use that book to make my decisions. So it says that according to power that is already in you, you were created with the seed of greatness already inside you. You were born with it. So life is not about creating that seed or planting it in you. It's already in you. Life is about cultivating it and discovering it, uncovering it, and allowing it to blossom in your life. That's what life is really about. That's why my favorite book again says that the gift that is in me makes room for me and places me in front of great men. That's what it says, isn't it? I mean, doesn't it? So it doesn't say that I got to go find somebody and convince that guy to respect me, or I don't have to go work hard. Everything about me is already in me. So everything that's great about you is already in you. So the only work you have to do is to uncover it and unleash it. Cultivate it and unleash it on the world. Everything about you is already in you. So the journey of faith is simply you becoming the thing that you were created to be. Given all of everything that you need to be already in you. The challenge that we have, sometimes the thing that we see about ourselves is so great, scares us to death. Produces fear. And that fear causes us to doubt. It causes us to not believe that it's true. And we lose sight of the identification that it says about us. So we don't believe it. I can't do that. That can't be me. And so when I begin to speak to myself and tell myself those things, then I allow people to handle me certain ways. I get upset when I know I'm supposed to be great. I know I'm supposed to be on that stage. I know I was destined to be an SVP. I know I was destined to lead thousands of people. And I allow one person opinion of me cause me to change who I think I am or know who I am. How do we do that? Because we don't believe. Sounds good. I tell people all the time, I know what a man believes, not by what he says, what he does. We're not identified by the things we say. I had a guy that he told me, he said, Dwight, I'm gonna tell you this, and you may want to write this down. Don't believe anything you hear and very little of what you see. So he says, because most of it ain't gonna be true. So I use these truths to guide my life, to govern the person that I am. So false evidence. So let's deal with fear and why we should never even process fear. I want you to, I don't know if I've ever told you this. The lion is one of the greatest beasts in the jungle, right? Mr. Tasha is pointing to a lion. A gorilla is one of the largest beasts in the jungle. Yet and still, how in the world does a man have them locked up in cages? Why aren't they coming to see us instead of us going to see them? How is that possible? They're bigger than us. They're greater than us. But what caused us to overcome the fear of that greatness to where we were able to lock them in cages? I told you, there were three things that you make decisions in life with: love, power, and sound mind. We were able to outthink them, and we were able to devise the power within us to captivate them. Everything in life, other than another person, let me separate that. You don't have dominion over another person, but every other thing in life is subject to you. You're not subject to it. So every circumstance, every situation that you find yourself in, you have the power to speak to that thing and be convicted of the words that you say at such a place that you can cause that thing to submit itself to you. I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, if you are facing a situation right now in your life that seems overwhelming, simply say to that thing what you want, not what it is. And believe with conviction, and it will succumb itself to you. I promise you, it's a true statement. This what I'm saying to you is a time-tested statement. It is something I've learned over many, many years. And I said this before. Have you noticed how, excuse me, sorry about that. Have you noticed how, I know the millennials are probably saying, does he have an actual phone with a cord? What? Hey guys, I get all my ACN points. Now you say whatever you want, I'm gonna get my points. I ACN everything. We have I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Speak on something with conviction.
Yeah, we have the power to speak to our situations and circumstances. Now, once again, I said earlier, now to him who is able to do what exceeds abundance above all that you can imagine, according to the power that worketh in you, you have everything you need to face. So watch this. So let's deal with fear again. Let's go back and attack fear again. So I want us to, and these are things that I dealt with in my own life. I would always ask myself questions. Why am I here? What am I doing wrong? Or am I doing something wrong? And I begin the answers to the questions that I had, whenever I learned, there were many times I was going to ask you, have you ever noticed how more mature people, they are less reactive to crisis? Why? It's not because they're better or smarter. They just have more experience. And what they've realized is over time is that nothing is as bad as it seems. Things seem so bad, but what they figured out is nothing is really as bad as it seems. Now, I'm going to go back to my favorite book, and I'm going to show you why. All of you know, I gain fear from a circumstance that I face only because I believe I'm not prepared for it. See, crisis is a product of unpreparation, lack of preparation. A circumstance becomes a crisis because I have not prepared for it. If I'm prepared for it, it's no longer a crisis. So fear then becomes a product of my lack of preparation. But I want you to see something. Once again, all we have to do to conquer life is become more introspective, spend a lot more time quiet, meditating, and thinking about and leveraging knowledge to make our next steps. Watch this. So that my favorite book says again, the Bible says again, it says, I will never put more on you than you can handle. So now, let me ask you a question. I said that crisis is the product of a lack of preparation. But how can I ever have a crisis when my creator says that I will never face anything that I'm not prepared for? Think about that. So then the question I have is then why would I, if I'm never in a crisis, why would I ever be scared? And it's because I lack faith. See, it's one thing to face situations. It's another thing not to believe the things that I've been told that they are true. And if I don't believe those things, then I can't use them to my advantage. See, faith is the key to overcoming fear. You can have no fear with faith. Because what is faith? Faith is a convicting belief that provokes you to action. The only people that can be paralyzed by fear is ones that are not convicted of what they believe. So let's talk about the business. I could ask you a trick question and I could say, like most, how many of you are SVPs? And many of you would raise your hands. I don't want you to do that because I don't need you to do that. You need to do that for you. See, a person that believes he's an SVP, when does he begin to act like one? Does he wait till he gets the pin to become an SVP? Or does he become an SVP now? So what does that mean to be an SVP now? What do SVPs do? And the real question is, if you don't know what an SVP does or how an SVP acts, then you have not been paying attention to the SVP that's running this call. Now, you will say to yourself, well, I mean, what does that actually mean? What do you do with your team? See the calls he has with his team? The consistency, constantly, every day. Not talking to them about, hey, how many sales you got, even though he does that as well, but he also invests in their lives, in their growth, and their development. He does that consistently. I know for a fact that since the pandemic, which is February, March timeframe, Mr. Thomas has been doing this consistently to this point. That's what SVPs do. How many of you does he call? How many of are you leaders does he contact? How many of you have access to him? How many of you see him? He's got Fridays, he's got Thursdays, he's got Mondays and Tuesdays. He's made himself completely available for your access. You get to see firsthand an SVP. Now, the question is, have you become Mr. Thomas? This is really simple. I think we complicate it. If I want to be an SVP, first thing I need to do is find an SVP. And then I got to do what SVPs do. It's as simple as that. And you will become one. Now, you probably say, can you prove that? You already know, I love when people ask me that question. My favorite book again says that now these 3 words are probably the most powerful words that I know. And it says that now faith is. I don't want you to go not one step past that phrase. So you can read the rest of that, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's powerful. It's great. But those 3 words say everything. It says that now, right now, faith is. So it took me a while to figure that out. And it's the question I just asked you about the SVP. And it took me years to figure this out. What does that mean? I hear preacher after preacher talk about this. Now faith is, now faith is, now faith is, now faith is. Now faith is. I said to you earlier, you are where and what you are because of what you believe. Everybody remember that? Remember that? Why? Because right now, your faith is who you are. So, I'm not gonna lie to myself. So I told myself the plumb pleasing truth. I said, well, I don't want to be this who I am right now, where I am. And so the question is, my faith had produced what I was. Therefore, my lack of faith was the reason I was unsatisfied with where I was. So what I had to do is hear more of the things that cultivate my faith to take me where I wanted to go, because the only way I was going to get there, my faith was going to take. Now, don't get me wrong. I did all the things. I was about to say made all the mistakes. I'm not going to say made all the mistakes. I'm going to say I did all the things. So I went and made more money, thinking that was the key. And I could make it. I could pick a number in my head, and 12 months later, I'd be making that number. Didn't really matter. And so didn't have a problem with that, but that didn't produce the thing. That didn't produce the person I wanted to become. Mr. Thomas is more than the money he makes. See, that's what you got to understand. That gentleman is more than the money he makes. He has transcended the finance. See, that's what you got to understand. It's about a series of principles that you live by. They define who you become. And those principles attract everything to you that you want, because you become that thing. So if I want to be an SVP, I become what SVPs are. And so how do I do that? By gaining information that makes me understand and believe that about me. So if I say, I believe I'm supposed to be a lawyer, but I never get up and go to school and get a law degree, then I really actually don't really believe it. I'm saying I believe it, but I actually don't believe it. Why? Because the difference between just simple belief and faith is a belief that you're so convicted of, it produces action. It not only produces action, it provokes action. It causes you to act. So if you say to yourself, I believe this thing, I told you earlier, the only way I know a person believes is what he does. Not what he says, but what he does. So you guys probably get tired of Mr. Thomas, because I get tired of it, because don't get it twisted. Don't ever get it twisted and think Mr. Thomas isn't Mr. Thomas with everybody that he deals with. Now, he might not call me like he calls you guys, but when I see Mr. Thomas at an international and we get to hanging out, Mr. Thomas has an interesting way to put out little one-liners to say, you know, hey, so Dwight, how's business going? How many people you put in the last, and you're thinking to yourself, you know, what's actually going on right now? You have to ask yourself, what is he really asking me right now? He's challenging me. Why? It's just natural for him to do it. He probably does it with everybody. His daughter probably does it with all of his leaders. He probably does it with the people he goes to church with. Probably does it with all his friends. Because this is what SVPs do. They bring the best out of the people that they are leading. That is the nature of a leader. Leaders help you find that seed of greatness that's already in you. Remember, that's what the Bible says, according to the power that works in you. One of the things that helps you discover that power is mentors, good leaders. They help you discover that. As you become a leader of your team, you'll do the same. I talk to individuals in business, and I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries. If your conversation with your leaders is about production all the time, you're not a leader. Your conversation with your leaders has to be about them. When a leader cares about the people he leads, he is vested in them. He has a vested interest in their success. So I don't know if I ever told you this story. The gentleman that introduced me to the business, he's calling me one day. He's just calling me, blowing up. He said, Dwight, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And he finally pushed me because he's a young guy. I've only been in the business about 4 years, and which is a long time. Don't get me wrong. I should already be, and so I don't even. Where's Mr. Thomas? You don't notice he's probably thinking only. I need to call him when we get off the phone. That's too long. That's 36 months too long. He needs to go to work. So he was calling me. This gentleman was calling me, and he was on me. Dwight, you Dwight. And I finally told him, I said, look, I haven't made the decision yet what I'm going to do. And he's like, you know, I don't see why it's that hard a decision. I said, I know you don't. I know you don't. I said, let me ask you a question. When that person calls you and they tell you, hey, I need your help. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're saying, I've got a problem and I need help with that problem. And you're saying, hey, what? Why are you calling me? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are you calling me? I'm calling you because when I gave you $199, you told me that you were going to help me change my life. No. I was going to present you with an opportunity to change. They don't know the difference until they've developed. They don't understand that difference. What they thought you were going to do was be the leader that they've been looking for. That's what they thought. When they bought into you, they didn't buy into the business. They didn't buy into the cell phone. They bought into you were going to be the person that was going to change their life. That's what they bought into. And I asked him, what are you going to tell that person? And I told him, I said, the reason I'm hesitating, because I don't yet have an answer for that person yet. Because I know the responsibility that leadership carries with it. And I have to brace myself and prepare myself for that. I want to tell each one of you, and I got 1 minute. I got to get off the phone. I'm already over time. I want to say to each one of you, There is no reason on this planet for you to have any fear. You're like a person going into battle that has already it's been proven to you that you can't lose. You're like a person going to take a test with all the answers. You're like a person running a race where everybody else is clear. I will not outrun you. You can't lose. So the statement that fear is really evidence that is false, that's trying to present itself like it's real, is true. Fear is not real. If the Bible says that you will never face anything that you don't already have the wherewithal to overcome, there's never a reason to fear anything. When I used to teach in my church or Sunday school, or when I do teach, if you take any time and think about the book that I'm telling you about, you begin to realize, this may sound cocky, but the truth be told, I am invincible. There's nothing that can limit me, stop me, threaten me. Everything I face is subject to me. So if you're not winning the way you want to win, you have not become the person you need to become. And the only way to become a person is to gain the information, once again, that produces the thoughts, that produce belief systems, that convict you to action. That's it. Because once again, last thing I'm going to say, don't believe me that information is the key. We are destroyed, meaning we live lives of calamity, lives that are beneath what we know we were created to be. Well, and what is that we said we were created to be? It exceeds abundance above our imagination. Remember? That's what we were created. We were created to do what is abundantly in excess of our imagination. All right? That's what we were created. So that's who we are. And if we have not become that, it's because we don't yet believe it. So in a nutshell, Mr. Thomas, I appreciate this time. Thank you. And I think next week's subject will be focus.
Sensei. Sensei. Wow. Faith.
Yep.
Wow. Ye of little faith, living beneath the privileges. Man, that echoes like a chamber through this call, because it's almost, when I say it, it's something, and then somebody else say it, it's like everybody stops and listen. It's like you tell your kid, don't touch the stove, until somebody else don't touch, they won't do it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you so much for giving us an outlay. If it's his favorite word, his favorite 5-letter word, faith. And I can't wait to hear focus. And we talked about fear today and failure to come and financial maybe. Folks, I'm here to tell you, I hope y'all wrote a whole bunch of notes, because I did. And not only that, like that little black book say, don't just be hearers of this, be doers. Nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new. Now, I've said before, some of you living, like I said before, you're living way beneath your privileges. And then Mr. Dwight comes on here and says, oh, Lord have mercy. This is all biblical. It's all real. We all have what we need inside of us to get to SVP. So why are you dragging yourself? Why you been at the same position for year after year? Why? There's no need for it. After today's conversation, you just got to go get off your assets and go to work. You just got to get off what? Your assets, and go to work. Some of y'all sitting around getting wide in their assets You need, once you go to work, you'll slim those assets down, but you got to put it in action. I've always said on every conference call, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the handsome, I'm not the youngest, but I flat out work every one of you. See, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. You're gonna let me outwork you? Well, if I guarantee by outworking me, you'll be an SVP. This ain't the first time Mr. Dwight Williams, I've told him that, but it goes in this ear, out that ear, and they onesie twosies. Man, I thank you. Look, I tell you what, can we show Mr. Dwight Williams some love today? Let's show how much he mean to us. Let's show him how much we got out of it. Let's not just listen. Let's do something with them. Come on, y'all give him some love. Give him some love. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Come on, it's hump day. Get on with our hump. Show some love. There you go.
Really do.
Man, sir, we want to thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. We want to thank you. Tonight, Miss Ismail is doing her 1 through 10 on her number. I don't have it handy here, but put it on the screen, Mr. Man, my mind is going crazy right now, Mr. Bree Clements. So let's be on there tonight at 6 o'clock with a person or two, 3 or 4. That's how you build it. That's how you become successful. That's how you get out of that fear. What do you got to, hey, look, you know, God don't make junk. So what are you fearing? What are you fearing? Get on the phone and get some people on the call. Let's make it happen. So once again, tonight, Miss Ismail will be doing her call. You all know the number. Get on there with a guest or two. Tomorrow morning, we'll have from Vivid Home Office. We got a couple. Oh, we got a contest, a new contest starting today. Actually, it starts on the 1st, but we're going to backdate it. You'll hear about it tomorrow. That's all I'm going to tell you. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Got to be on here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. But once again, tonight, Miss Ismail is doing the 1 through 10 tonight. Get guests on there. And Mr. Williams, sir, thank you so much. I can't wait to this series. I'm sitting here just, I'm all excited. This is some good stuff. And thank you. I got 6 pages of notes over here. How many got more notes than I have? I guarantee there's people on here and don't even take notes. And they wonder why they still stuck after year and year in the same position. Yeah. All right. With that said, sir, thank you so much. God bless you. Say hello to your beautiful wife. And we thank you for your knowledge and experience. Because you know what? These white hairs, that shows experience. See, that's when you listen. You sit at the feet of people that have, like he said it about experience. Who's done it? And, Lord have mercy. Let me shut up. Thank you, sir. Once again, everybody get busy in your business, get over the hump and get people on tonight and go build your business. We'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock. God bless.